And we're wondering about what are the downsides are of technology like this. Is it really just as good or better than real-world simulations, and why?
Well, I think that when you are creating complexity in SL, I think the first obvious concern is that changes by Linden Labs to the client will jeopardize the viability or the sustainability of what you have created. And if you're going to engage in doing this, it's important to keep up to date on those issues and maintain a relationship with the Lindens that represent education development in SL, such as Claudia or Pathfinder or Babbage. Another word of caution when you're using SL and you're creating this type of thing would be to establish legal relationships just as you would in real life with people that you are collaborating or contracting with for services. You know, as far as the risk and the legalities of these kind of relationships, there is only one life in the eyes of the law. So, but in terms of the advantages of simulations in Second Life, the things that you've heard here is that they're far more cost effective. They're available 24/7. They're more flexible to change and adapt on the fly. One of the things, examples that I give is the recent death of Michael Jackson. Using our patient role play MUI system, if you were to go to class the next day, what happened could be recreated, and you could be asking questions and kind of bringing in what's happening now into your classroom and putting it up on the big screen instead of just talking about it, instead of just putting it up in a black and white PowerPoint. It's far more engaging or interesting. We bring a lot of fun into it. John has a diarrhea animation, and when he talks to his students about gastrointestinal problems, he sits on a toilet and he has massive diarrhea, and they're laughing like crazy as they're choosing medications to apply. You can't buy those moments, and believe me, everybody in that classroom is engaged. They don't completely replace real-world simulations, but SL simulations and role plays can make real-world interactions, when needed, more effective and efficient. You make better use of your time. And for those students that need extra practice, extra repetitions, for those things that you don't have time to do, what you can create here is incredible. And last, one of the things that you can do with our system is that students can create their own medical events and their own role plays. And for instance, a student can create a myocardial infarction with a 43-year-old woman versus an 84-year-old man. And so instead of they're creating the learning, they're creating the game that's going to be used by the rest of the students. And that is a really powerful what they'll learn by creating the learning themselves. So we're very excited about what Second Life can do, and but we also think that, and we're exploring mashups of Second Life and another gaming engine where people can go back and forth. So we have all kinds of new things coming, new ways to bend this platform, and we're excited about the future.
Well, that is an outstanding segue to the last question we have tonight. I see that Norma asked a question about disaster drill simulations. We can possibly talk about that in a sec, but the question I have for you guys is, where do you see this going, especially in regards to Second Life? And we'll be ending with this question. Right now it's pretty much open to all three of you to jump in as you would like. So where do you see it going, guys? Who wants to go first?
I'll take a shot at that. Never too shy. I just wanted to to say the MUI that has been created and the concept of role play that has been created in this initial development has opened up all kinds of potential that we're just beginning to even glimmer. This could be moved into scenarios of medical ethics, bedside manner simulations, and one of the people in the audience at NEC, one of the teachers said, this would be so cool to set up as a pre-service teacher classroom management system, set up a number of scenarios that way. But the most important thing that I'd like to mention and be sure to emphasize is that none of this could really happen without the kind of facilitation that Cathy does by losing a lot of sleep. Remember, we all have day jobs, and John does by working so hard on his input into the medical simulations, and also what the scripters are doing. We've got some very, very, very talented, brilliant people working to implement the scenarios and the role plays that we design and that John and Cathy have thrown at them so far, and I hope to throw a few of my own at them very soon. So,
thank you, Scott. Anybody else want to chime in? Where's this going?
Well, we hope to take it a long place, but a lot of that depends on the reception of the education community and their forward thinking. I really think that they need to take what we're doing quite seriously. In a world where you're soon to teach the Webkins, the children of Webkins and RuneScape and Club Penguin, I think that this is the type of learning that they expect, and we are not taking out the real people element. Someone mentioned that out in the audience, that I want my doctor to practice on real people, and they do that, and they go to clinicals, and but they're subject to only the things and being exposed to the things that happen during that clinical. Through these simulations, we can expose them to so many other situations, so many other types of decision making, and also give the opportunity to coach them on what would be better decision making. And it's so much less expensive. And it opens up for more online education. So that gives people in rural areas, people that need to find babysitters and all of that, more opportunities to engage in learning. So I hope to see it expand, but first minds out there of people in administration, people that have, the top people, decision makers of how to spend money are older people, actually like myself, for their minds to expand and realize that they need to change and begin to maybe throw this up on the screen instead of a black and white PowerPoint in a lecture pit.
I'd like to add that the pilots a long time ago got smart and they started using flight simulators because they knew that they would be a much better pilot if they were put through scenarios that, of course, they hope would never happen, but they could actually react to those. We have the same thing in education, whether it's nursing, being a physician, being a bank teller, or whatever. You have to be put in a situation. You have to react to that. And I think really in education, gone are the 1800s idea of education, where the instructor stands up there and talks and talks and talks, and colleges tend to be little isolated islands, and they never exchange information. I see the whole world actually becoming much smaller. I see the training systems going between countries, not just within our country, but exchanges between countries. I see the healthcare facilities coming, the business side of things coming into education even closer with these kinds of training devices. And so we put the bank teller through some really potentially bad situations and see how they react.